Brian Levine, coach on the left. All Connecticut natives.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Fire away. Don't be
Some
shy.
opening comments, Al?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, we knew we'd have to play well. We obviously have a great amount of respect for the Brown program, and they've given us everything that we could handle. So, we knew we'd have to play well, and kind of just first glance, that's about as well as we've played from start to finish. With the exception of the kickoff return, probably as well as we played the entire year. And maybe the score could have even been more. We fumbled down in the goal line and we missed a field goal and came up short on a couple of fourth downs. So I thought our kids really came up big against a good football team and a team that we've had a little bit of trouble with. But I was very, very proud of the way they prepared all week, and I was very, very proud of how hard and how physical they played. And I thought it was indicative, that we were able to control the line of scrimmage on both sides. And I think once you can do that, you stand a much better chance to win. So I'm really happy for our kids. I thought they played very, very well.
Coach, last year the Yale and Brown games were kind of low-scoring struggles. I remember you beat Brown in overtime. This year, do you feel like you're peaking at the right time?
Yeah, we've been playing good defense right along. And, we have some young kids offensively that are starting to grow up and mature. And obviously, you start with the quarterback in position that, now they're going through week 6 into week 7. And, I think that certainly reassures us that we can do more things offensively. And I thought the whole key and the thing that we've really been trying to stress is just protecting the football. Last year in that Brown game, we had a lot of yards, but we had 4 turnovers. This year, the 1 turnover we had was in the end zone. Going in to score, and it mattered, but it didn't matter at that point. So if we can protect the football, and that's the thing that we're trying to get them to understand and make good decisions, then I think we have great opportunity, to beat a lot of people in this league.
Bill, your leg's a little sore today after running all those miles out there?
Yeah, it was good to kind of get out of the gate and get a big play for the offense. And we just been running the ball great all year, and today was no different than that. And Colavita and Jeff Jack have been running the ball great, and it starts all up front. Just like Coach was saying, we've been dominating the line of scrimmage. We have a veteran offensive line; they've been doing great all year. So that's pretty much it.
Billy, on the not the touchdown run, but the one where you brought the ball down, could you kind of run through what you see in a play developing like that? It was a long game.
In that situation, it was right before the half, and we wanted to get a score, whether it was a field goal or a touchdown, and we called a deep route, and they had it, the coverage was right there, and just got to pull the ball down. So, been harping on not turning the ball over, not forcing the ball into tight spots, and just tucking the ball and making a play. And that was a big play for us, and we were able to get 6 points in before the half, and that was good. That was good for us going into the half, going up.
Do you? I know you don't look to run the ball in a situation like that, but does that give you a little bit maybe more confidence, or make you a little bit more comfortable that you can run the ball if the receivers are covered?
Yeah, I think it's almost like a safety net. It's almost it gets me out of trouble. We turned the ball over a bunch last week, and we harped on that, like I said, all week. And if we protect the football, we're gonna win a lot of games here. And today we had a fumble in the end zone, but other than that, we took care of business on the offensive side, I thought, and we were able to come out with a huge win, push us forward into the last 3 games of the season.
Brian, the defense today, Brown couldn't get anything going, especially up front. You guys getting in the backfield. What did you think of the overall play today?
I felt like we dominated him, honestly, pretty much the entire game.
they really couldn't get a lot going versus us. We have, obviously, it starts with our scheme, and then it comes down to we actually have some pretty good players who can execute our scheme pretty well. And from the young guys all the way up to the seniors, I think everybody's doing their job pretty well. Got a lot of guys taking it personally who want to go out there every week and put their best game out there. And I think we try to do that, and we go out there and try to execute what the coach is asking of us.
Brian, for the second straight year, you held Brown without offensive scoring. How do you compare this defense's confidence level to last year's?
Kind of try to bring that same kind of swagger in terms of being a senior, and we have a bunch of leaders. Last year was a great group. We kind of want to make our own identity right now as a senior group and kind of push the younger guys. And it's two different teams, but it's the same kind of mentality. We expect to dominate every series and go out there and execute the game plan. When we execute, we do pretty well. We're in the right spots.
Brian, did you have a good look at when on the play that their quarterback got hurt? It looked like he almost got sandwiched.
Yeah. Oh, Goldsmith got him pretty good. Mm-hmm. It's a big boy.
The other thing was, at the end of the game, I know that it doesn't really make a difference, but it seemed to make a difference to you guys to keep them out of the end zone.
Yeah, it's a pride thing. It's definitely a pride thing to not let them go in, to get in at the end of the game. We want to preserve that shutout. I think anybody who's started playing defense from a young level on up wants to it's the goal every week, especially if you're only playing one side of the ball. You really want to kind of take the life out of your opponent.
Coach, Dave Twamley was a guy. He's been all over the field the last couple of weeks. His name for the last couple of weeks wasn't really being mentioned ever. Where did he kind of come from? Was he injured before? Like, what is his story?
No, he's been playing a lot of special teams. He's been playing situationally at corner, but he and Justin Williams and Anthony Marino are three sophomore corners that we were just kind of waiting, and they started to develop and they started to mature, and you saw it last week really come to fruition, and now you see it again. So we just were in a situation where they were a little bit young, and now they started to play with a little bit more confidence, play game speed a little bit better, play with a little bit more consistency, and they're three really talented kids. And so that bodes well for the future. We can now rotate Bradford so he doesn't have to play 70 snaps. We can now put him on offense a little bit more to kind of get a little bit of explosiveness there. But it was kind of the plan that we were looking at. You know, we thought in preseason that we had to start with Bradford and John Salinger, two older kids who've kind of been through it, and then bring those sophomores along, and then ultimately those sophomores were going to replace them. You know, and I think it's probably going right according to schedule.
Coach, I'm sure at this point in your career you know what a championship team looks or feels like. Maybe you don't want to say it with these guys here, but does this team have the look of a championship?
I mean, the things that you got to be careful of is, you know, this was obviously a huge game, and it's a game that gives you control of your own destiny. And that's the only thing you could ever ask for. You know, you can't talk in terms of championships because you got 3 more games. You lose the next 3. There has never been an Ivy League champion with 3 losses. And so what you have, though, I don't need help from Yale beating Brown, or I don't need help from Dartmouth beating Harvard. Now we control everything, and the things that I've been telling them all year is the schedule breaks very well for us. And again, it's always hard to win on the road, so there is no easy road games. But if you just look at the road games that we've had relative to the distance you have to travel and everything else, you know, arguably the 2 hardest games, which are Harvard and Brown on paper, you know, you both got them at home, and that's a huge advantage. It's still going to be hard at Princeton next week. I'm going to tell you that right now. They're not going to roll over. And then you always got Cornell with a young team, and you're going to be fighting weather and everything else up there. So it's way too early to call it, but what we do have, and nobody else in our league now has it, is control of your own destiny, and that's what you're fighting for until you can get to week 9 and week 10.
How does this team compare to last year's team?
We're probably better balanced. We had so many quarterback injuries last year that we never got into an offensive rhythm until we actually got into week 8 and week 9 and week 10, where we finally had a little consistency. Here we've been able to play the same 2 kids all year. Our offensive line has matured. You know, our running backs have really matured as sophomores, and I thought those kids have done a great job in overcoming the loss of Lyle Marsh. And I thought right now between the tight ends, the O-line, the quarterbacks who can hurt you with their feet as well as with their arms, some young receivers. Now you're starting to see Ryan Mitchell play a lot, Connor Scott, which are two freshmen, play a lot. You've seen Aaron Bailey play a lot. So we're a little bit more balanced on the offensive side of the ball, and that's huge. And then the other thing that I was really happy to see today, was that second field goal that Andrew made. And I think that's great for his confidence when all of a sudden you're kicking it from 47 after you made the first one. And I think that'll do wonders as we head down the stretch for him. So that was huge for us as well.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what Billy can give your offense that maybe you might not be able to do with another kind of.
Well, I mean, he's the kid right now that he can hurt you throwing the ball, and then he has not only called running ability, because we've called probably 8 to 10 runs where they were called quarterback runs, where the beauty of that is you get an extra blocker in there, and so you can block everybody and still have a ball carrier. But he also, when he goes back to pass, if nothing is open, he's not throwing the ball out of bounds, he's not taking a sack, he's got the ability and he's got that escapability factor that everybody's looking for. And when he gets in the open field, he's electric. I mean, he's hard to knock down, and he's not a small kid, so it's not like you're trying to tackle, a 175-pound quarterback. He's probably 210 pounds.
Anything
so
else, guys?
it's really helpful.
All right, thanks.
All right.